You know, if I was an alcoholic, this would be a bad place to have a shop. What's up, guys? John Conley here, UncleJohnSoap.com. Today, we're going to make some lumberjack soap. And don't get me wrong, you can call it whatever you want. Lumberjack, cedar soap, pine soap, evergreen soap, winter soap. It's all good. Today, we're making a basic soap recipe that I've given you guys before. I'm going to give you the recipe again in this video. Watch for that. Get your gear together and let's make some soap. So look, it doesn't have to be any particular oils. This is 50% cedar wood essential oil. This is Texas cedar wood. I'm not sure what the difference is. To me, cedar's cedar. You got white, red, whatever. And kind of like wine. Anyway, and then some sort of evergreen, like I use Scotch pine. There's all kinds of fir you can use, things like that. Not big on a straight pine, not big on a straight cedar for a couple reasons. I think each one on their own tends to be a little harsh, but something about the blend. It's still strong, don't get me wrong. I mean, this is a very strong oil, strong scent. Cedar wood, just like some sandalwoods, can be a little irritating to some people, especially with shaving. Bath soaps don't seem to be as bad. I've never had a reaction like, where it feels irritated or itchy or anything like that from using this stuff in bath soap. But in shave soaps, when I shave my head with sandalwood or cedar, things like that, I get irritated. I have a lot of customers who don't. They love our sandalwood and our Cedar Lodge soap, for example. That has a lot of cedar in it. So everybody's skin's different, guys. All right, in this bowl we have all the solid oils from our recipe. That's going to go in the microwave, and we're going to start melting that. For me, it only takes about 3 minutes, and then let it sit for, whatever, half a minute, just to make sure the last of the soy dissolves. So let's do that. Next, we need to mix up our lye water. Turn on the scale. Look, Ma, no gloves. I use 17 ounces of water for this recipe. Alright, zero that out. 8.5 ounces of lye. My little lye mixing whisk. I like using a whisk instead of a spoon. I've seen people use wooden spoons, and I guess it works all right. But I like the whisk because if it does happen to clump, or a clump fell in, the whisk just breaks it up really nice, and I don't know, it just works. But a cheap stainless whisk, and that's the only thing this whisk ever touches is lye water, but I mean, I could wash it and use it to mix up shave soap or anything like that. It doesn't hurt a thing. And here's a tip. Excuse me, leaned over the pot. So if you're going to be mixing up multiple batches of lye for different things, keep a little scrap piece of cardboard around on your work surface and rest that whisk on your cardboard, because then any lye that's on the whisk itself won't degrade your countertop or things like that. If you've ever noticed, if you leave lye, something with lye liquid on it, it'll leave like a residue, and it'll eat into the surface or it'll discolor it. It just works, and that little piece of cardboard eventually can be tossed out. And I'll use it for a couple days and then it's gone. Alright, lye water's mixed up, really hot, and again, like I showed you in the last video, it's really cloudy. I know it's ready to use for me. This is the way I set it up. Everybody's going to tell you different. They'll go by temperature, this and that. I know you guys don't believe me. I do have a thermometer. I rarely use it. And when I do, it's almost never for soap. But anyway, when it goes clear, for the most part, I mean, as clear as live water gets, that's when I use it. And it's still really hot at that point. You'll almost never see me take temperatures of my oils and stuff like that. So, yeah. So our solid oils have been in for 3 minutes. There's still a little bit of soy floating around down in here. I just give it a little agitation. It seems to make it go a little faster for some reason. Again, it could all be in my head. But it makes me feel better. It's all melted. Okay. So, the next is our liquid oils from the recipe. Now, no matter what people say, and I don't care what they say, quite honestly. I don't care, you hear me? Anyway, you can use, this recipe calls for canola oil. This is canola oil from your local big box. Oh, that's an oxymoron. Anyway, your big box stores. Gallon of canola, it's not expensive. It makes a great soap. And, you know, I don't buy into all the hype about canola oil and, you know, things like that. You know, there's nothing inherently dangerous about canola oil, and you need to research on what the chemical makeup actually is of this oil, and it is totally interchangeable, now that I'm on my rabbit trail, with olive oil in these recipes. Again, don't care what anybody says. Go get the same amount of olive oil from your other big box stores like Sam's, Costco, whatever, and try it. Try it for yourself. Do a test. Do a side-by-side test in a soap batch, and I guarantee you, and even in the lye calculators, the numbers come out just about identical. So we're doing canola oil in this. It's 40.5 ounces, so that's 2 pounds, 8.5 ounces. And I like weighing everything as I go. I don't like weighing into separate containers for the most part, and dirtying more containers if I don't have to. Sorry about the chatter outside. Alright. We're done with that oil. You know, if I was an alcoholic, this would be a bad place to have a shop. Alright, we're going to get our mixer ready. I've had people ask me about my mixer, and honestly, guys, most of the time, well, since I've been making soap, I've never gone for a specialty mixer. I've never tried, well, I've researched, but I've never tried buying anything, you know, super duper industrial, because, how do I put this? I'm a return on investment type of guy. There are some things that you can put your money into that you're going to get a really good return on. There are some things you put your money into that are going to be total crap. And then there's a lot of stuff in between. But like, for example, our shop location, we are not on Main Street in this little town. Love this little town, love Main Street, but this town for years has been more than just Main Street. A lot of people tend to concentrate on Main Street. So, you know, you get a little less traffic off Main Street. You know, it's not quite as busy on the side streets. But when you look at what I pay for rent and what I actually get in sales, you know, the number of people in the door, how many of those people actually bought, how much did they spend? I've looked at similar stores. Now, they don't make soap, but, you know, gifty shops with similar price point products on Main Street. I look at their rent and their foot traffic and what their foot traffic spends. And I actually, percentage-wise, do way better here off Main Street. I'm close enough to Main Street that I'm not hidden, but I'm just far enough off Main Street that I get my rent for about a third of the price. So, something to keep in mind. Same thing with mixers. Sorry, another rabbit trail. I started out buying just the standard old, can you see it? Yeah. Cuisinart stick blenders. I liked the original ones that I bought were the stainless like these, and it had the two buttons on here, high and low speed. Then at some point, somebody had the genius idea, because probably some other genius stuck their finger in the end of the mixer, you know, not thinking that there's a sharp blade in there, to put a safety button on here. Well, I don't know if you've ever tried to do that one-handed, thumb on the safety and your finger. I have, you know, not monster hands, but I have decent sized hands. That's almost impossible to do without your other hand to push the safety button down to get it going. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's my old arthritic ass hands. But anyway, then I went to buy a replacement for that white one, because thinking, okay, the motor's probably getting tired, at some point I'm going to need another one. And I found this one, and I got to get the model. I can't remember the model number, but I think this is an older version. It was refurbished and sent to me by mistake. It was supposed to be a stainless version of this guy. Actually, no, it was supposed to be a white one. They sent me this guy. The motor feels heavier. It's the same amperage, wattage, and all that. But there's two things. One, it's a single button push. It's a long button, very easy to push. You don't have to squeeze the heck out of it and cramp your hand up. So it's very easy to hold. Your speed control is a rheostat right here. High speed, low speed, and everything in between. So you're not stuck with just two speeds. You can adjust it. If you're getting air bubbles, turn it down a little. I usually keep it right about in the middle. No safety button. Just squeeze and go. I'm an adult. I can keep my kids from sticking their fingers in there. I can keep me from sticking my fingers in there. You know, I guess I can understand the need for safety buttons on some stuff, but safety buttons are like child-proof caps on medication bottles. They're going to figure out how to do it. All right, enough of my jabbering here. Got our hard oils, got our liquid oils all mixed together. The lye water is more clear, but I can see well enough in there that there are no crystals left over. There's nothing hanging out in there that's not dissolved. Here's our fragrance. Again, that's cedar wood essential oil and a pine essential oil that you're going to blend. And again, your choice. Fir, Scotch pine, whatever. All right, so I put that in right away. And I need you're going to want your mold ready, because cedar and some pines, and I don't know if it's because of the tannins or the resins in them, will tend to make your batch not seize up, but trace really quickly. So I want everything ready. Spatula for cleaning out the bowl and smoothing out the top. I blend all the oils, including our fragrance and essential oils and that stuff, into the oils thoroughly before I pour the lye water in. Does it make a difference? I have no idea. Alright, time to pour the lye water in. This one I start a little slower, and then let her rip. She's gonna, oh dear, I'll use this one. I always like to have a little water for my mixer head to go in to clean out that blade. So this one's tracing pretty quick. It's not unreasonable, it's just, you gotta pay attention. Alright, that's about as much as I want to go. It's that quick. I mean, I know, I see everybody mixing. Just going crazy. Oh, by the way, if you don't have a bunch of water in here, take your mixer machine off the top of that mixer head, because it will knock it over and make a mess. Ask me how I know. Alright. Yep, that's set up pretty decent. Again, I know I keep beating this dead horse, but keep it simple, guys. Don't overcomplicate. I mean, I shouldn't just blanket statement that, you know, people like to do swirls, and that's cool. You know, all the fancy schmancy swirls, and embeds and things like that. That's not me, for one. I'm more of a utilitarian type guy. That's just the way I'm built. If you like doing the decorative stuff, that's great. More power to you. But before you can do decorative stuff, you gotta, I know it's cliche, you gotta learn to crawl before you can run or walk. So as cliche as it is, it's true, regardless. And again, I don't like to over fuss with these tops. I just like to get them roughly even all the way across. Make sure the corners filled in good. Well, something. And that's it. Don't make your life more complicated than it needs to be. Well, look at that. It's the next day. Surprise, surprise, shocker. I didn't get a chance to get the video up last night, guys. So you get to see the cut in the same video again. Yay! So it's been about 22 hours since I made this cedar and pine lumberjack winter, whatever you want to call it. You can call it flannel soap. But yeah, about 21, 22 hours. And yeah, pardon the mess. I still got more soap to make, but I wanted to show you guys the cut before I get to. Thought this one had a screw in it. Yeah. Losing my mind. Through the magic of television. I feel like Julia Childs from the 70s. When she would finish a dish and then magically pull it right out of the oven 2 minutes later. I guess back then TV really was magic. Nowadays we're so used to video that we don't even bat an eye at any of it. Alright. And a little sweaty. Not too bad. A lot of different essential oils and fragrances do sweat. Pardon me, just getting the cutter. Do sweat when they're in either silicone or plastic, like I use as a liner. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it, and it'll dry. I like, again, for those of you that don't know, I like to clean the strings, give them a quick wipe between each cut, each pass. Just makes less of a mess that way. So, I don't know if you can see this. See how wet that is? It's not a big deal, guys. It's just a little sweat. It's not all squishy or anything. See? No lye burns. It's all good. I do wipe it off though. Oh. Alright. I like to have a little support under the end of the loaf. This cuts half of the long loaf at a time, and I just don't want that end teetering down and leaving a big mark in the middle of the loaf somewhere. So oh yeah, there it is. Need better light so I can show you like the patterns. There's like a little marbling in there. It's really hard to see. Yeah, you might be able to pick it up just a touch there. Yep. Smells like cedar and pine. It's a miracle. And I like to cut it the very next day. Most soaps react very well to that. They're easier to cut at that point rather than letting them go too long. If I let this go another 2 days, I could probably get away with one. If I went 2 days, it gets a little more difficult, a little harder on the strings, and there's just no point in waiting that long to cut them. Now, if this was coming out of a big block mold, one of those 100-pound blocks of soap that they cut into loaves and then into bars. I believe, and I could be wrong because I've never put my hands on one myself, I believe they get a little harder, a little faster. Or, I mean, I'm sorry. They don't get hard as quite as fast. So they may have to wait a little longer before they're cut into bars. You know, cut it into loaves, wait another day, maybe 2, and then cut it into bars. I don't know. I could just be talking about my butt. I'm guessing at this point. At some point, I'd like to go visit somebody who's got one of those huge 100-pound, sit on the floor on rollers, block mold, and try it out for myself. I want to make a batch and see how it feels. So there you go. You got the making of the soap, the recipe, and the cutting of the soap all in one video. I know it didn't have a lot of fancy swirls and stuff like that. It's not like it was a huge tutorial, but you know, I do like to show processes and things like that. But if you have any questions or comments or critiques or whatever, leave them in the comments down below. And if you made it this far, guys, come on, click like, subscribe, click the little bell notification icon, because subscriptions don't get you notifications most of the time. That way you don't miss the fat guy with the beard making soap. Oh yeah, do me a favor. I need a huge favor from you guys. I need 7 subscribers on my other channel. 7. That's it. You can subscribe and then, you know, give me a month, and then if you want to unsubscribe, that's cool. It's Uncle Reddit on YouTube. You know, it's the Reddit character with the beard, and we narrate Reddit stories, you know, crazy Karens, entitled parents, yada yada yada, all that stuff. Right now we do a lot of tales from tech support, and yeah, I narrate those stories and put them up on that channel, and it's just something fun for me to do on the side. But I need 7 more to hit 1,000, guys, and I was hoping maybe this channel could help me out a little bit with that. If not, that's cool. I'm not pressuring anybody. It may not be your cup of tea, and that's fine. Otherwise, appreciate y'all swinging by to watch me make soap, and see you on the next one.